alone with him. Chapter 1. The Empty Cabin. Emily had never planned to be stranded. The cabin deep in the mountains was supposed to be a place of escape, rented for a weekend of solitude after months of exhausting work at the hospital. She packed her notebooks, her favorite novels, and a single suitcase, thinking she would find peace in silence. But the silence was shattered when she realized she wasn't alone. On her first night, after a dinner of canned soup and bread, Emily heard the crunch of footsteps outside. At first, she thought it was an animal. But then the doorknob twisted. Her heart froze. A man stepped inside, tall, broad-shouldered, with a rugged face hidden under a beard. His dark coat dripped with melting snow. His eyes locked on hers, as if he had expected her. "What are you doing here?" she demanded, her voice trembling. "I could ask you the same thing," he replied. His voice was deep, low, unsettling. "This is my cabin." Chapter 2. The Stranger. His name was Daniel, or at least that's what he said when she pressed him. He claimed he lived nearby, that this cabin had belonged to his late uncle. He said the rental agency had no right to lease it out. Emily didn't know if he was telling the truth. She only knew that there were no neighbors within miles, no cell service, and no car that could make it through the snowstorm now raging outside. For the first night, Daniel stayed by the fireplace while she locked herself in the bedroom. She lay awake, listening to his footsteps, the creak of the floor, the slow sound of him breathing as he moved through the house. Something about him frightened her, but something also intrigued her. Chapter 3. Trapped Together. The storm lasted 3 days. By the second morning, the roads were buried in snow. Neither of them could leave. Emily cooked what little food she had, and Daniel chopped firewood. They barely spoke at first. She watched him from the corner of her eye, the way he moved with strength, but also a strange gentleness when he set logs in the fire. On the third night, Emily's fear began to shift. He wasn't unkind. He didn't try to hurt her. He even offered her his coat when she shivered. But his eyes held something she couldn't name. Something dark. Something he wasn't saying. Chapter 4. The Story He Hid. It was on the fourth night that Emily finally asked, "Why are you really here?" Daniel stared into the fire. For a long moment, he didn't answer. Then he said, "Because I have nowhere else to be." He told her fragments, that he had been in the army, that he had left something behind in the city he didn't want to face. He never explained fully, but in his silence, Emily felt a shadow, the weight of a man carrying secrets too heavy to share. And yet, she wasn't repelled. She felt drawn closer, as if his pain mirrored her own unspoken loneliness. Chapter 5. Tension. The longer they stayed trapped, the harder it became to ignore the electricity between them. One evening, as they argued about whether to ration the last of the food, he stepped closer, His hand brushed hers as he took the pot from her, and her heart raced. They were alone, miles from the world. Every glance, every accidental touch felt louder, sharper. Emily lay awake that night, aware of the man just beyond the wall, a man who both scared her and made her pulse quicken. Chapter 6. The Breaking Point. On the 7th day, Emily tried to leave. She packed her bag and insisted she could walk to the nearest town. Daniel blocked the door. "You won't make it," he said firmly. "The storm isn't over. Better than staying here with a stranger I don't trust." His eyes burned with something almost desperate. "You don't get it, Emily. It's not safe out there." She froze. The way he said it, as if he knew dangers she didn't, made her chest tighten. That night, she couldn't sleep. She kept thinking of his words. Not safe. Not out there. What did he mean? Chapter 7. Confession. On the 9th day, Daniel finally confessed. He wasn't just hiding from the storm. He was hiding from people. People who wanted him gone. He had witnessed something. Something about corruption in the army, he said. Men he once trusted had turned against him. He didn't know who he could trust anymore. That was why he lived like a ghost in the mountains. Emily listened, torn between fear and compassion. Part of her wanted to run, but another part saw the raw pain in his eyes and couldn't turn away. Chapter 8. The Kiss. It happened suddenly. They were standing by the fire, arguing again. She insisting she deserved the truth. He insisting it was better she didn't know everything. Her anger flared. She shoved him. He grabbed her wrists to stop her. For a moment, they were too close, breathing hard, firelight flickering between them. Then his mouth was on hers, fierce, desperate, hungry. Emily resisted for only a second before surrendering. The loneliness, the fear, the isolation, it all melted into that single kiss. Chapter 9. Alone with him. From that moment, everything changed. They became entangled in each other's worlds. The nights grew warmer, their conversations deeper. Emily discovered layers of Daniel she hadn't expected. His humor, his tenderness, the way he listened to her when she spoke about her childhood, her dreams, her fears. Yet the darkness never fully disappeared. She still saw it in him, the weight of the secret he carried, the danger that lingered in his past. Chapter 10. The Outside World Returns. After 2 weeks, the storm finally cleared. Roads were opening again. Rescue teams would soon reach the mountains. Emily realized she had a choice: return to her old life in the city, or stay with Daniel in his shadowed, uncertain world. Daniel, too, faced a decision. He could let her go, keeping her safe, or he could pull her deeper into the darkness that surrounded him. The morning the helicopter flew overhead, Emily stood at the cabin door with her suitcase. Daniel stood behind her, silent. Neither of them moved. Chapter 11. The Final Secret. Just before the helicopter landed, Daniel whispered, "If you leave now, you'll never see me again." Emily turned to him, her chest aching. "And if I stay?" He hesitated. "Then you'll know everything, even the parts of me that could destroy you." Her eyes filled with tears. For the first time, she saw him, not as the stranger who had once frightened her, but as the man who had saved her from the cold, who had listened when no one else would, who had made her feel alive. She didn't know if she was ready. She only knew she couldn't walk away. Epilogue. Alone together. Emily never boarded that helicopter. The world searched for her, but she was gone, lost in the wilderness, choosing the life no one understood. With him, alone, yet no longer lonely. Because sometimes the darkest secrets bind two people together, not by force, but by a choice made in the silence of the mountains, in the firelight, in the moment when fear becomes love.